talking a little bit about just more financial education stuff, and credit score. Why is credit score important? Obviously, if you're ever gonna invest in a house or buy any property, they're gonna wanna know what your credit is, what your likelihood of being able to pay off that house is. And a good lender will teach you how to improve your credit, or how to build your credit, or just give you a map, a roadmap to like, okay, maybe I'm in a little bit of debt and I need to figure out how to consolidate that debt so that I can build my credit and, you know, make some gains. So credit score. If you call the credit card company, they will tell you that you have to maintain a credit balance and that improves your credit score, and that is 100% false. The reason that they're telling you that is because they want you to be their ideal customer. Their ideal customer is what's called a revolver. A revolver is somebody who maintains a line of credit and they pay interest, a little bit of interest every single month. What they don't want you to be is a transactor. A transactor is somebody who uses credit as a tool, somebody who uses their card like cash, and they only use their card for their monthly, you know, payments of whatever their living expenses are. And the point is that you're not overbuying what you're producing. So how is your credit score determined? Like, how do you get a really high credit score? The first thing they look at is volume of dollars per month. How many dollar volume, like transaction wise, per month are you putting up on your credit? And they will also tell you, you don't want to max it out. And that's also false. So my first credit card, I had a 0 credit score. It was a prepaid credit card. I had to prepay $500. And I was like, $500, that's all I can, you know, get? That seems like really, really low. How am I supposed to establish a high volume of transactions with $500? So I found this book, and it said, charge your card up twice a month. So what I started doing was, in 15 days, I would charge up $500, and then I would pay it off. And so I basically 2x'd my credit history in 1 year by making 24 transactions instead of the 12, which they were trying to teach me to do. In 1 year, I went from like no credit to over 700, just with a prepaid $500 credit card, because I was using it as a tool to leverage their system instead of doing what they wanted me to do. So history, number of transactions. If you show that you got 12 transactions at $500, that's enough history to go to them and say, hey, I'm maxing out my card every month. It is not enough. I need more credit availability. And the more you get approved for, and the more that you can prove you can pay off, your credit score goes up and up and up. Volume, history, number of transactions. So I don't use my debit card. It's a very unsecure form of transacting in any way, because it's like your whole checking account right in your pocket, right? And nowadays they got these little guns with lasers. They don't even have to be close to you. They can literally just shoot a laser at your pocket and liquidate your checking account if you're walking around with your debit card. So credit card has those chips and they're encrypted, but also you can say, hey, if there's fraudulent activity, you call the card company. There's a whole insurance policy that prevents them from, you know, accessing your checking account, which is actually where all your cash should be. So I only use credit cards for transacting anything, but I only use them as a form of cash. And that's the third key. Don't pay interest. They will tell you, oh, you just have to make the minimum payment. This is your minimum payment right here. You'll be good if you make this minimum payment. the reason they're telling you that is because they want to bleed you dry. They want to make money off of you. Use credit like cash, meaning you rack up all these transactions. You should only be racking up these transactions if you have the money in your checking account to pay off all of those transactions, because then you are being a transactor. You are not being a revolving credit customer. When you use it that way, then you get free money. If you're not paying interest, right, then you're getting free money based off of the perks, based off of the benefits. And that's where they have rewards, miles, all these different things. And that's really how you should be using your credit card, as a tool to create free traveling expenses for yourself. That's what I do. I rack up all these charges for these material expenses, and now I have like over 500,000 mileage points for traveling, basically, because I used credit as a tool.
I got like $450 back from my Costco card.
Yeah.
This year alone.
Yeah, and that makes sense as long as you're not being drained by the interest. So that's the key, is you have to use it as a tool, figure out how to break the system, right? And just pay your card off in full. So if you've been maintaining a balance on your credit card and making the minimum payments, but you have the cash to pay it off, just pay it off. Literally, just figure out how you can make the full payment, and then maybe just cut spending for a month, just to break the cycle, right? Just to okay, we gotta stop. just so you can break the cycle, and you can just kind of think on a cash basis, and then maybe just do transactions with cash for a little while until you can switch your mindset into, my credit card is only a form of my cash, and it's only just a secure transaction form of then, okay, all my charges are tallied up at the end of the month. I'm going to take one transaction from my checking account to pay off my credit card. And that will keep you above 700.
Unless you buy a house.
Well, a house is good
I
debt.
took a 40-point hit.
A house is good debt though. So if you're going to bring down your credit score, you want to invest it in a house.
I stayed above 700, but I took a 40-point hit.
Yeah. Well, that's because you took a $300,000 loan out.
I went up to back up to like 760 or something.
Yeah. And so the history of making those payments when you have this new debt, again, the same thing. It's that consistency. It's making your payments on time or even ahead of time. And then
just $10 more makes a difference.
Go ahead, Jake.
Just like $10 over makes a huge difference. If you just do that for like 12 months straight
On your mortgage payment or
Yeah.
just any?
Yeah, any payment, and pay it early,
Yeah.
it will
You're cutting
snowball
out the
effect
interest.
and raise your credit score very fast.
Yep.
And of course, debt to income ratio is huge.
Yep.
You want to eliminate the debt to an extent.
Exactly.
Don't go out of your means.
Yeah. But good debt, there's a difference between good debt and bad debt, right? So good debt is an investment. It's like your home. And what makes it good is that you have the equity. The equity gain offsets the credit, the line of credit, right? And so in that sense, it's a business. Your house is kind of like a business. It's an investment tool. And then you get tax write-offs by owning property. So there's just all these little things, that add up to making you get more out of each dollar if you just execute things in the correct way. So, any questions on credit? No? Makes sense? Cool. Next thing,